Welcome back, everyone, to another mind expanding episode of Mind Over Matter. I am your host, Arick, and here to remind you that life isn't just something that happens to us, it's something we create moment by moment. So, today's episode is going to blow your mind, shake up your perspective, and leave you inspired to reclaim your power. Our topic: the concept that we are the creators of our own reality. Yes, you heard that right. What if I told you that you could design your fate instead of being a passenger in your own life? To help us dive deep into this juicy subject, I've got an incredible guest, Karissa Dean. Karissa isn't just a business mentor or ICF certified coach. She's a truth telling, boundary breaking, success chasing powerhouse. From running multiple businesses, managing vacation rentals, and even operating a dump truck company. Yes, a dump truck company. Carissa's story is a testament to what happens when you stop waiting for life to change and start creating it yourself. So grab your cup of coffee, your journal, or maybe just your curiosity, and let's get into it. Karissa, welcome to Mind Over Matter. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Arick, thank you so much for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Karissa, your journey is nothing short of extraordinary. Juggling multiple businesses, revamping your personal life, and redefining success. But let's start at the beginning. Was there a specific aha moment when you realized you could actively choose your reality instead of just reacting to it?
Yeah, I had a coaching call. but I was in a group coaching program and I was listening to one of the other women share. And in that moment, I saw myself in her experience. And so it was if this mirror was held up for me. And it's when I realized that I was the problem and that I actually had more opportunity to choose what I wanted in my life. And I just started to need to do it, right? To change the way that I was showing up and be less reactive and be more receptive and more curious about the different pathways. And that was kind of the moment when I realized, oh, there's always multiple options. There's always multiple solutions. And like you said, bring your curiosity. I think curiosity is the number one lifesaver for us to recognize that we can create more than what we even can imagine if we just sit back a little bit instead of trying to plan and organize it all out.
Yeah, yeah. So, what were the steps, the first steps you took to make that shift? Were they as daunting as they seemed at that time?
Yes, they were absolutely daunting. I think that anytime you're confronted in life and
Yeah.
you feel like you want something to be different, it really does take a lot of courage. So I think people who choose to change and
Mm.
choose transformation are very brave individuals. And so it did take me being really brave because what's happening when you're choosing change is you're breaking, if you want to get into the science of it, you're breaking neural pathways and you're saying, wait a minute, brain, you're not going to decide and you're not going to keep me safe. I'm going to try something that we've never done before and I need you to trust me. So it takes a lot of inner courage and strength and a deep sense of trust and resiliency because you are doing something that your brain and your body don't understand. And
Yeah.
our brain and our body is trying to keep us safe. They're trying to protect us. And we have to break the habits that we've created because that's where the change lies. And so some of the first things I started to do was just playing in the realm of, okay, what if I did this one thing a little different? So, for example, instead of pressing snooze on your alarm, what if you got up the moment your alarm went off?
Oh,
you know, in, Instead of, signing up for a yoga class that's a week away, what if you just walk in the yoga studio today and you go take that class right here and now? So it's kind of just breaking some of these really small habits and seeing, oh, actually, I did this thing. It was totally new. And look at that, I'm safe. And so it's about building stackable habits. I think personal development and transformation can be really intimidating. And that's why I'm always supporting my clients on finding small stackable habits that they can sustain, because the sustainability is what cultivates that long-term transformation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I love it because it's so relatable. I actually am guilty of this. I woke up this morning. I woke up at 6:45. So I set my alarm for 6:45 a.m. And so by the way, it's 8:41 right now. I woke up at 6:45, and then I saw the time. I was like, "Oh, it's only 6:45." And just for the information, just for the record, it takes me 1 hour to reach from my place to the college, and I had my class at 8:30. So I kept pressing snooze, and guess what? I missed the class.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it was very relatable. And yeah, just small habits. My mentor always says that don't start something that you cannot sustain. And it's
Yes,
just it's just so appropriate to everything that you're, especially when you are caught up in doing so many things. I guess this is something that people need to be aware about. Just don't start something that you cannot sustain. And yeah,
exactly.
even like starting small, even when the picture seems very bigger or overwhelming. I think a lot of us get stuck waiting for that perfect moment. Wow.
Yes.
You have talked about being burnt out and overburdened before finding your path. What did those tough times teach you about personal responsibility and how much control we really have over our life?
Yeah, I think it's easy. Being burnt out is really a tough place to be. I have a lot of sympathy for people who are burnt out. It's really isolating. You feel like nobody understands. You feel like there's no pathway out. And what I would love to share for people who are feeling that way is it's not true. And if you can just look to a different angle, right? Find that different perspective and see, okay, actually, I'm part of what's cultivating my burnout. And it's about you choosing something a little bit differently. And again, it's like if you look at the science of what happens to the body when you press snooze, you're
Yeah.
not doing your body any favor, right? And we all know this. And so it's just about making small changes. So how am I showing up in the different areas of my life? Am I saying yes to too many commitments? Do I really need to sit down and analyze what I'm capable of? I think that burnout happens. And in my story, it happened because I was really wanting to do everything for everyone else all the time. And I think that that's a natural human condition to people please. We want to take care of each other. But the reality is, we can't take care of everyone if we're burning ourselves out, because ultimately, massive burnout leads to some pretty serious health concerns and issues. And if you're, you're not here on earth, you're no help to anyone, right? So when it's really simple. It's just about slowing down and really, can you check in with yourself? One of the things I love to offer to clients and even friends and family is when you get that invitation, hey, can you help me do this thing? Or are you willing to work on this project? Or can you do X, Y, and Z for me? Before you respond, before you text them back or call them back or email them back, it's about really creating some space for yourself and sitting down or going outside and grounding or going on a quick walk and really thinking about, okay, if I say yes, what is the impact on me? And does that impact negatively affect other people around me, right? Because when I'm overwhelmed, I'm more reactive. And so if I'm more reactive, that's going to have a negative effect on my partnerships, on my employees, in my business, with my children, even with my dogs and animals, right? And so if you just give yourself enough space before you say yes, you will likely start to identify the moment before you hit burnout, right? Because you're becoming more of a conscious chooser. And that's really a really beautiful first step is just wait. Don't respond right away. You don't need to wait a week by any means. And you can, and if you're totally like, oh, but it's not in my ability to not respond. What if your response was, oh, wow, that sounds really exciting. Let me get out to you. Right? Like it can be that simple. And so I think personal development gets really overwhelming to people because they think they have to change everything about who they are. And it's not about that. It's actually about slowing down, being really intentional and making more conscious choices about what really is aligned for what you're trying to be in life.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it's just amazing. So you mentioned like this is something that even I suffer from, pleasing people. And I realize that it's so important to say yes. And at the same time, it's important to say no. And one of the things
Yep.
that my mentor told me is is your no should be as powerful as your yes. Uh,
Love
and that completely changed my mind. I mean, like, yeah, like I can be so hesitant sometimes in saying no, but I can be so confident in saying yes to some things. But I realize that I am my own individual person. And I mean, the people that I'm saying yes to would not want me to suffer, would not want me to
exactly.
be burnt out, would not want me to be overburdened. They are giving me work because they just think that, I might be able to do it. However,
Right.
they also give me the space to say no. And no is not rude, but no is actually protecting yourself. No is saying I could do it and I would be happy to do it. However, this is something that I need to take care of, or there's something that I need to take up instead, or I have some other commitments. So yeah, I think the takeaway is that your no should be as powerful as your yes. So,
Absolutely. Well, and the other thing I would love to add on to that, Arick, is
yeah,
when you're
please.
saying when you're saying yes to something else, something outside of you, you're actually saying no to yourself,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So if you think about, if you can just reframe that in that moment, right? And I think that's where you keep the power in your no being as powerful as your yes, right? Because when you're saying no, you're saying yes to yourself. And that might be what you
Yeah.
need. And it's not about being selfish. I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's really selfish. It's not, though, because it's like trying to fill, a pitcher from an empty glass. It's like, it's just about understanding what you have capacity for and showing up as a healed whole person, saying yes versus showing up
Yeah.
totally burnt out, overwhelmed, reactive, and saying yes. And like that energy isn't actually beneficial to anyone. So it really is protecting everyone around you and making it a better experience for everyone when you say yes to yourself.
Yeah. 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 I mean, one of the favorite things that I personally love, and one of my favorite things about your story is how real and unfiltered you are. I mean, there's no fluff. So, why do you think it's important to ditch the cookie cutter advice and embrace authenticity in the pursuit of our goals?
Yeah, I think, Brene Brown talks a lot about vulnerability. And I think that we live in a world because of social media where it's very easy to make everything look really pretty and to make everything look like it's easy. And the reality is my journey has been nothing but difficult.
Yeah.
And I think that most individuals live somewhere in between the high highs and the low lows. And the more authentic and vulnerable we are about, hey, man, this has been tough for me. I think it allows other people to be vulnerable and honest with themselves. So I don't appreciate the cookie cutter advice. I don't appreciate the concept of trying to keep up with the Joneses because I think that it does more harm than good. I think we heal when we're honest with each other, when we're vulnerable, and when we feel genuine validation for the current roles we are in our lives. And so there is no flop here because I don't think that that actually heals people. I don't think that that helps anyone. I think that that actually just creates more masks and confusion in our world. And we don't need that. We don't need any more of that. There's plenty of it out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's really amazing. I mean, like that's what I tell my friends also. Like, guys, if you are giving me an advice or if you are suggesting something to me, don't try to be nice. Don't think about, you know, how it will hurt me, or don't try other ways to say that thing. Just be straightforward. Just be straightforward because I think that saves a lot of time, even if it hurts me. And I think that's your role as friends, that even though if something hurts me, you got to protect me from that. So that's what.
Yeah. And I think there's like a hurt from like, I'm hurting your feelings because I love you so much and I see what's possible for you. And then there's, of course, hurt just to hurt. And I think that that's the difference is I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm actually trying to get you to tap into your full potential. But if I'm sugarcoating it, if I'm trying to make it look prettier or easier than it is, I'm not actually doing you any favors. I'm actually hurting you. And so I like to just bypass all of that because the reality is anyone can go get their hair done, their makeup done. You can go get your nails done. You can go get a spray on tan. You can go lose weight. You can get plastic surgery. But like
Yeah.
all of that's artificial. And I want to go deep with my people. And I think that the world is, the conscious collective is asking us to go deep with our people. So the sugar coating, it might look pretty and it might be trending online, but it's not the reality for most people. And I think that we need more authenticity in the world and less keeping up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, I loved how you spoke about, like, there's so much clutter that is already out there. So just get done with that and just let's go straight to the point. Yeah, that's really an important reminder. I think so many people just feel disconnected from their goals just because there's so much clutter in between. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. That's amazing. Finally, let's talk about the idea of possibility. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone listening who feels like they're stuck and can't see a way forward?
Yeah, I think slow down or just slow down. Give yourself a little more compassion and space. We live in a very busy world, right? Like, as you mentioned, it takes you an hour to get to school. And we're just so busy. We're running, we're going from one thing to the next. So I think make space in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year where there is nothing on the calendar and you can just be, and then just start to get to know yourself more intimately. I think it doesn't have to be a giant revolution. It just can be really simple start, of who am I? I think that's the greatest question we could ever ask ourselves. And if we slow down enough and we start asking that question and we get more curious about, who am I when I show up at the grocery store? Is that who I want to be? Who am I when I'm out driving? Is that who I want to be? Who am I when I'm taking care of my friends and family? Who am I when I'm all alone by myself? Is that who I want to be? Those just yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. Wow, Carissa. I mean, this conversation has been absolutely incredible. You have given us so much to think about, whether it's stepping into our authenticity, reframing failure, or realizing that we have so much more control than we think. Wow, thank you so much, Karissa, for that. Thank you so much. And to everyone listening, here's your call to action. Take a moment today to reflect on one area of your life where you can reclaim your power. It does not have to be a massive overhaul. Maybe it's just one small shift in perspective or one brave step forward. And if you want more of Carissa's wisdom, and seriously, who wouldn't, be sure to follow her journey and tap into her amazing coaching resources. Remember, this is mind over matter, where we don't just dream about change, we make it happen. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and don't forget you are the creator of your own reality. Let's build something amazing together. See you next time.